like but you gotta have it like this. But here's what I can do. Yeah. But I wanted to go ahead and cover a few things about this mayor. I thought that I would go ahead and do it here on this YouTube live. I've never did a live on here. I've been featured on a live on YouTube, but I never did a live before. And so wanted to speak a little bit about that, but go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hey, I'm the Knitting Cohesion.
Yeah. Yeah, so I wanted to get into it, but did you see that? No, I just didn't see them really pulling it off. But I didn't think they were going to get beat this bad. But you know how those scripts go.
Oh yeah.
You
Now,
know,
now I heard Donald Trump came to the game. Is he really the first president to come to a Chiefs game?
probably so. I think the
Okay.
only reason why they really got into that was they were trying to turn up as much hype as possible. Because them sports, they are really struggling out here today. I think that just people are moving on. Like I say, I think more people are interested in playing the video game for real over, watching the sport. Because so many people just feel that it's just way too scripted and fake. And you expect it to be that way, just because of the face of the league, of those leagues today. You know what I'm saying? And
hmm
so, people are just getting turned off by it. But I wanted to go ahead and speak a little bit about this mayor. All right. And some of the things that he said during this whole state of the city address. Okay. Um, what's up with you? Um, welcome to the chat. We just talking about Kansas City and the mayor if you're from Kansas City. But he said a number of things in the State of the Union address. There are a number of people speaking about how this dude took, donor money or some kind of donor money uh to pay for his trips to the Super Bowl. Okay.
Mm.
So apparently he I don't know if he created this little fund or if it was created by the dude Mayor Sly before, I think. But there's a fund that private donors can donate into, and it doesn't technically have to be reported. Okay. And so people have been real from what I'm hearing. So
Mm.
people have been very suspicious of that because, this is how this mayor has been paying for, his little trips down to these Super Bowls. Okay. And, people have been on him about that. And his argument is number one, it shouldn't be a big deal. From what I'm hearing, it shouldn't be a big deal because he's not taking from the taxpayer. And then also, when he's going on these trips, he's doing more than just going on a trip. He's kind of like trying to put the city on the map, so he says. But, man, in my opinion, um, that's not really something I'm invested in being worried about. Okay, I kind of said this a minute ago. That kind of goes along with the game with these politicians. You know what I'm saying? They're going to be getting, I mean, they say that they're not supposed to take these kickbacks, but they're going to get some kickbacks for sure. You know what I'm saying? They're going to be taking some of this money under the table. And me personally, I mean, if you're taking care of your business, doing your job, I mean, that's not something that I'm, concerned in. There are a number of other things to be concerned about, like some of the things I want to speak about in this video. Um, but, that's what I wanted to say about that. The second thing is, he got to talking about just in the intro of his statement or his address to the city. Man, he got to talking about how he grew up and he kind of grew up harsh and he was here and there, and it's like, man, you know black folks, such as him, man, in my opinion, dude, it's not a good look when you're sitting around in 2025 trying to make it seem as if you live in somewhat of a struggle, oppressive life makes you more officially black. All right.
Yeah,
That's officially and extremely ignorant today. All right. So what, dude? You know,
yes,
there are a bunch of people that done did this and did that. You know what I'm saying? Or had a struggle or whatever. I mean, that doesn't make you more blacker than maybe a so-called black person that, came up outside of that. You know what I'm saying? Maybe they never looked at a bad day at all for real. But that doesn't make you more blacker than them. That's extremely ignorant today. All right. That's the reason why a lot of times you be having black folks like that. I can't stand being around black folks like that. Like, yeah, I know I came from some kind of beginnings, but to be real with you, man, um, I wish I never did. You know what I'm saying? I wish I never did. I wish my life uh in the early beginnings was a lot more positive. And so now that I'm in that position of my life to reflect like that, I don't want to be around nobody trying to front, trying to make it seem like they was in the struggle when I know they wasn't. You know what I'm saying? And he wasn't one of
absolutely.
those dudes. I mean, like I say, I mean, he say he from here. You know what I'm saying? But
From
I ain't
Kansas
never heard
City?
of dude. That's what he said. He said he from
Uh-huh.
here, but I ain't never heard of dude. He said he from here. He said he was raised on the east side. All right. But I ain't never heard of dude. You know what I'm saying? Where he go to school at? Where block was he from? Where was he at? But, that's what he was saying. But I'm just like, whatever, dude. But he got into that. Um, the next thing I think what is major, man. I wish I can get to these notes right here. But they popping fireworks regardless, even though the Chiefs
Alright, I can hear 'em.
they popping fireworks regardless out here. But boy, celebrate them trying to come back from that because they got blew the hell out. You know what I'm saying? But the second thing he was talking about was like the infrastructure or whatever. That was the main thing I wanted to get into. One of the main things. He was speaking about how so much is going on with the building and development of Kansas City and this infrastructure. He got to talking about all these things, but look, man, when it's a situation where the more important things are not taken care of, okay, and you're sitting around trying to speak as if some of the more least important things in comparison to the more important things is a flex, that sounds like a cover up to me. You know what I'm saying? because I mean he was talking about the infrastructure like that, but dude, when you're looking at a great part of this city, it's not looking too good, especially with the trash. All right, especially with the trash and the waste. And you know what I'm saying, you go through over there through 47th and stuff like that. That river is always looking like a slum.
And it
You know what I'm
smells.
saying? Yeah, and sometimes it does. It smells and stuff like that. And like, dude, you can't be sitting around here talking about that and don't talk about the trash. You know, the trash is still terrible around here. Now I can give them some credit, you know what I'm saying, for kind of like trying to get over here by the Chief Stadium, but that's why, because it's right by the Chief Stadium. You know what I'm saying? They're trying to, you know, push back a lot of those trees and stuff like that to try to get into some of those encampments because it is getting extremely ridiculous over there. But man, that ain't saying too much about, you know, what they're not doing. That doesn't make up for what they're not doing. You know, because the trash issue is terrible. I mean, it, I mean, just this after this snowstorm, which he tried to brag about there, he said a lot about the snow crew or whatever. But I mean, all of that goes out the window because that's all a part of start and finish. Okay, that's just a part of the start and finish. And when you don't finish strong, that's like you lost altogether. You know what I'm saying? Because that trash problem we were dealing with, I think the trash was out here for like 3 weeks. You know,
Yeah, that don't
trash
make
was
no
out here for
sense.
about like 3 weeks, huh?
I said, no, that don't make no sense.
Yeah, the trash was out here for about like 3 weeks. They didn't pick it up, and there were a ton of um days after that. You know what I'm saying? Where they had clear days. It was just good. It was warm outside and everything like that. And you know what I'm saying? They didn't get that taken care of. You know, but you know, he got to talking a lot about the infrastructure and stuff like that. And I was like, it doesn't really make sense when so much is not really being taken care of as far as sanitation. All right. It's really hard for me right now to really get past just that because that's one of my main pet peeves about, you know, Kansas City, you know, is the trash issue. And then when we talk about the infrastructure, okay, we're speaking about the infrastructure. I mean, they're doing, I mean, yeah, they're building things like, for example, that whole railway and things like that. But have you, I mean, when you look at that railway on the plaza, they were bragging about how they finished it so fast. Okay. They were talking about how they fixed it in record breaking numbers and all of this nonsense. But like when you go down there and look at the work done down there is terrible. All
W-
right. The work
Oh,
done down there on the plaza for that rail system is terrible. Okay.
okay. What are they doing construction for now? Because yeah, I heard that it was complete and it did look bad. And then it's like they're still doing construction down there. What are they doing?
They're building the rail system.
Okay, still. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, but it looks terrible down there.
it
You know, I'm
does.
I'm down there. When I was down there, I'm walking in the area. I'm looking around, looking at the concrete work and how the concrete was laid and all. I said, man, that is looking trash down there. All right, it's not looking too good down there. That work is looking bad. And you know, we talking about DEI. All right, that was DEI right there. Okay. That was DEI. See, that's why people need to really understand what DEI is. That job down there, when you go down there and look at that plaza job, that was a job where a whole bunch of people got jobs that did not deserve to get those jobs. And the primary people down there, white and Hispanic men. All right.
Yeah.
They ain't
Yep.
have a lot of brothers down there. I think I seen some brothers down there earlier on in stage, but primarily all you seen down there. Oh yeah, I I did that one video of that brother holding that sign. Remember when I did that?
Yeah.
That they had a brother down there doing that. All right, but for the most part, that's who was down there doing those jobs.
Yep.
You know, and so,
Oh yeah.
I mean, yeah, I mean, he was speaking too much about that whole infrastructure thing, especially when you look around as well. And pretty much most of what you're seeing come into the city is just a bunch of apartment complexes. It ain't nothing else coming up around here, not really. I think that he was talking about the Kansas City Current or whatever, but that ain't really a flex. All right, that ain't really a flex. You know that to me, man, that was to me, man, that was just a part of a script. All right, they put that team here. They gave them a championship to try to make them putting that team here make sense.
Hold on.
Okay,
What? I'm sorry. You said the Kansas City Current. What is that?
it's like I think it's like a soccer team or something like that. It's like
Okay.
a women's soccer team.
Okay. Well, no, I missed that.
Yeah. Yeah, it was like a women's soccer team. But uh he was speaking about that like, that was really something, but a lot of what's coming to this city ain't really much. I mean, you got a lot of apartment buildings coming, they're renovating. If they're not renovating, they're building, but nothing really as far as infrastructure, right? Nothing really unique to this city is being upgraded. Okay, for example, like we don't even say it anymore. You know what I'm saying? But Kansas City used to be the city of fountains. And there once was plans to really start adding more fountains to the city, especially on Truce. Okay?
Yeah.
But that's something that's not really even invested in or thought about anymore. Okay, I mean, when we look up and you're not really investing in things or upgrading, you know, things that are unique to the city. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
And the only thing you're doing is we're seeing apartment buildings and that type of nonsense. I mean, that ain't really talking about nothing to me, you know, in
Yeah.
my opinion. You know what I'm saying? So I got to see a little more when he's talking about the infrastructure. Now, he did talk about the whole street initiative, and I can give them some props on that. Okay. Um, they have done a okay job with the streets, but again, when you look at the work being done, the work is terrible. The jobs being done are terrible. The ideas are on point, but when you look at the jobs being done, when you talk about the streets and stuff like that, some of these plans they putting out there, they look terrible. All right,
Yeah.
bunch of DEI going on with the construction going on around here. All right, you know what I'm saying? A lot of them checks being wrote from the taxpayer to a lot of these contractors. A lot of DEI going on around in Kansas City. And like I say, that's why we got to know what DEI really means. It's not something unique to so-called black people. It's about people getting positions that don't really deserve it. you know?
Yeah.
And so yeah. So yeah, I mean, I think he got to do a little more with that, but yeah, I can give them the props on the streets. I can give them props on um um that street light measure that they did where they uh made a plan to add more LED lights. Some people don't like it. I think that it is, it's a modern thing to do. You know what I'm saying? Headlights, they're not as efficient. They definitely burn way more power. and they don't cover as much ground, at nighttime and stuff like that. Some people do not like it, but I think that it was an all right measure for them
What
to
are they
do
not
that. Huh?
what are they not liking about it?
Man, I think some people just saying it's too bright, or
Oh, okay.
some people, they just don't like it
It,
or something like that. But a lot of people are saying it's too bright. I think he
mm,
talked about the planting the trees. That's something that I don't really have a problem with on that. I think that that's always a cool thing to do. Uh, some people were complaining because the amount of money that it costs per tree. I did want to see if, because there was some guy saying that it was costing up to $1,500 per tree, but I was wanting to see if that included them paying um for the crew that does it. I wanted to see if that was included, like, because they got to continue to care after the tree once they plant it. And so
oh, okay.
yeah. So I didn't know if the pay was included in the in the cost for the tree. Because there was a guy kind of like reporting that it's a waste of taxpayers' dollars because they're trying to charge up to $1,500 for the tree, but it's like, dude, I mean, it's a long term investment, and when they plant the tree, they got to continue to make rounds to come, care for the trees, and sometimes they are replacing the trees,
Mm,
when they don't survive or whatever like that. So that kind of was what it was. The other thing I'm trying to remember, because like I said, I can't catch the list. The other thing uh that was kind of like major, and this was something that I hit on in a video. Him kind of like speaking about how Kansas City is being an example of how you go about leading an inclusive okay type of environment where people can come from anywhere, and no matter who they are and how they talk, they can get these opportunities and things like that. And in my opinion, man, he was speaking a little too heavy on that one. You know what I'm saying? He he
yeah,
he really was, because when you kind of go out here in Kansas City, man, it's not looking like the land of opportunity. Okay. You know what I'm saying? It's not looking like the land of opportunity. Like your it has to be a reflection of that. You know what I'm saying? And
absolutely.
so when you come here, I mean, and we're dealing, for example, with some of the misfortunate people out here, all right, that are not out here on their feet and things like that. I mean, is this the land of opportunity? Okay. Or is this a land where people are coming and starting to crash and burn? You know what I'm saying? You gotta it gotta be a better face than that. And just like I said as well, when him talking about Kansas City being the example of, of inclusiveness, and those terms that they slang around with. It's like, dude, when you look up like what I said about how there are a lot of people that he associates himself with, or there are a lot of people that are very influential in this city that is not being a reflection of what he's talking about. Okay. You know, man, when you were sitting around being so confident about speaking like that, you know what I'm saying? And we're not seeing you being affiliated with those kind of people. I mean, bring them up front. I mean, are you talking like you got on the same page with some of the majors in this city about how y'all going to move forward? All right. With some of these measures that have been made, I doubt it.
Yeah,
It's not really looking like that. You know what I'm saying? And so he was saying that. And then another reason why I say that as well, because he will be somebody that will base that off of what he's doing for a lot of these other people that are coming in here from different places or whatever. You know, he was speaking about raising a lot of the money for the state workers, and that's all good. Hopefully, he's going to raise the quality of the workers. You know what I'm saying as well. All right, because I showed that brother who be down there in that state building, that city hall, and it be some very disrespectful, incompetent staff down there. On the side note, okay,
Yeah.
but you know, he will base a lot of that opportunity and talk and stuff like that off what he's doing for a lot of these immigrants and stuff. Okay, who got a major stake down there in City Hall and stuff. A lot of those other folks they be working for the city. It's not a lot of the city that works for the city. Okay.
I
All
didn't know
right.
that.
Well, I'm not saying that there's not a lot of the city that works for the city, but when you get down there in them city halls and them offices and stuff, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, some of those other folks down there who, like I say, a lot of them might be classified as white. Okay, we don't already, but a lot of them down there they good. But meanwhile, for example, for so-called black folks, you know what I'm saying? It's some shady stuff going on out here. Kind of like what I had mentioned,
Yeah.
you know. And so when he was sitting up there kind of saying all that, I'm like, dog, you gonna need some more receipts heavier than that, especially when there are shady things. And then some people will say, oh, okay, what's shady? Well, it's beyond um um not getting a call back, you know. It gets to the place of petty, where you got these folks out here really using their time a day in their position to sometimes even reach out to black folks. You know what I'm saying? And black folks out here trying to get themselves together, trying to get right. And you got these folks out here sitting around, all right, with their little fishing pole with a carrot on it, playing games.
Yeah.
All right. And I'm not gonna really get into the details on it on this live, but yeah, you got a lot of folks out here playing games like that. All right.
Oh yeah.
You know, and so, I can't really give him credit on all that talk because, in my opinion, the real one would have, when all that stuff came down from the president, what the president was doing and things like that, somebody like me, I'm looking for somebody like him to be letting the city know that he did. He got all the bosses together, all the leaders together down here in this city, and they really had a serious conversation about how Kansas City is going to be moving forward and being the example on how you go about, what I'm saying, empowering a collective group of people, okay, above whatever they feel like was some type of wrench in the game with the DEI, whatever, whatever. But that ain't what's happening strong. Okay, a lot of what's happening strong out here is these folks with their very positions, okay, sitting around here playing games. So yeah, I was like, yeah, I can't get with that. Um, and then there was one last thing that I wanted to speak about, man, but I cannot get to my damn notes right here that I have for this thing. And if I go out, I know it's gonna kick this motherfucker out. But there was one last.
Speak about. Uh oh. Hello.
Hello.
Okay, good. Okay. I thought it had kicked you out there. Okay.
Yeah, nah. But the next thing was he was talking about crime. That was the major one I wanted to go ahead and speak on because he of course Kansas City is dealing with a lot of crime right now. You know, there's a lot going on with crime in the city. And so he got to talking a lot about the measures that he was taking, but when he got to talking about the measures that he was taking for the city to address the crime, he wasn't really talking about nothing. And the reason why I say that is because he pretty much just went on record to say that he was going to um throw more money to the problem. They were going to hire more cops and they were going to throw more money to the problem. Okay, in my opinion, neither of which is going to fix the problem. Because first and foremost, numbers don't mean anything when the quality, okay, of the servicemen ain't about nothing. All
Yeah.
right. And that's just the truth of the matter. All right. When we talk about today, we talk about quantity, not quality, especially when we're talking about, what I'm saying, the police force. Okay. And so, just really hiring a bunch of more police, that's not going to really fix the problem.
What do you think would be a better solution?
I mean, I've said it before, um, just kind of like in the comment section. It takes a community to solve crime, to fix the problem.
That
And
makes
I know
sense.
this for a fact because this city has official case studies, okay, on the matter. I come from a neighborhood where that was done. Everybody that's from the town know about 39th Street. They know what it was about. They know what was going down over there. It was a 100% blood gang area. That's what it was. And it wasn't nice. And guess what? The cops did not fix the problem. They didn't fix the problem. All right. It was the people that fixed the problem, and the cops just assisted.
Mm.
And the people were kind of like smart about how they work with the cops. Those cops over there on Linwood, they know what's up. They got barbecues and stuff like that. You know, all the people needed them to do was be there. You know what I'm saying? When they needed them to be there. And the people did what they needed to do on their end. When you look up and you talk Ivanhoe, okay, that wasn't done by the police. You don't fix neighborhoods with the police, you know. And so, like, when he got to talking about getting more police officers, I'm like, yeah, that ain't about nothing. You know what I'm saying? When you know that it is the people that fix communities. But see, a lot of these other folks that come from these places where they ain't never had to fix a community like that, they don't know no better.
Yeah.
And see what's happening with a lot of these other folks and stuff like that. See, it didn't used to be like that for them. They used to police their own self, their own places now. But now even they asking for more police. And you know why? Because everybody's losing their sense of community.
Mm.
Nobody
Yeah.
works as a community anymore. And so yeah, see, I can provide a receipt about how um a community fixed the community. They can't give you no receipt about how they had cops, no matter how many of them they had, that fixed the community.
That's true.
And when you talk about how this mayor is pulling up, not talking about something next level like that, you know what I'm saying? In modern times, I mean, he's not really talking about nothing, you know?
Yeah.
And so, that's what I want to say that because he also spoke on the whole fentanyl thing, and it's kind of like the same thing. You ain't gonna fix, fentanyl by doing what? What are you gonna do to fix fentanyl? You know what I'm saying? It's gonna take the community of the people where that 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 abuse is happening. It's gonna take them to stand up and take the forefront to fix that problem, and the city provide assistance.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And so, I mean, that's just pretty much, you know, what I was getting out of listening to a lot of what he was like, same old, same old, you
Oh,
know.
oh yeah.
But yeah. And so yeah, that's pretty much it. That's what I got out of the state of the union, whatever deal that he was talking about. I mean, you know,
Oh,
um, I'm the type of person. I'm not like, I don't want to see this dude do bad. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you want to see this dude do good, but some of the things you seeing out here, real shady. But what was you saying?
oh no, I definitely agree with it. I mean, even when you're just like talking about some of the trash problems, um, and the crime and things like that, you don't even have to be within Kansas City very long, like down even in the plaza and things like that. It shouldn't be like that. And then, he's going on record to be like, you know, Kansas City as an example. And um, you can, like you said, you can clearly see those things. I was actually excited about the railway system, but yeah, it doesn't look good.
I mean, well, yeah, I mean, from what I seen, it's the job that was done. I mean, because I was down there on the plaza that day last week, and I was walking, I started looking like, dang, this looked terrible. You know what I'm saying? This looked terrible.
Yeah.
This looked terrible. But the last thing was, he was talking about, you know, addressing crime. It was another situation where it's like it's a community thing. It's not a government thing. But he was talking about how they were trying to figure out how to stop repeat offenders. Pretty much stop them from being arrested. And what he got to talk first, he went on record to say that, you know, he worked with guys in prison. Okay. This is a important one I want to talk about, because he spoke about how he worked with guys in prison, maximum security. He said that, and from his experience with working with guys in prison, he had realized some things that he believed he could utilize out here, with some of these repeat offenders. Okay, if that made any sense right there. But um, he was saying that. But see, the thing is, there's a difference between somebody that ain't went to prison, okay, and somebody that did go to prison and they're now in maximum security. Okay, there's a difference. A person in maximum security is going to have a different conversation with you. They might tell you at that point in time, now, yeah, I needed a job, and that's why I did what I did. You know what I'm saying? Yada yada yada. They'll tell you that. But somebody that ain't really faced that lifestyle, or that situation, okay, and maybe they probably going to the county jail or something like that, They ain't telling you that. You know what I'm saying? They ain't telling you that. They're living within the street culture, which means that it ain't a job ain't gonna stop them from doing what they doing.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? You know what you mean give somebody a job. I mean, if you give somebody a job, they gotta apply for a job like anybody else. You know, applying for a job today is easier than ever. Okay? You know, you living in the movies and theatric for real, you think that most people get into the street game because they didn't have nothing on their table. Most of the time that ain't true. You know, that has been debunked time after time. Most of the time, okay, people don't get in the streets because they ain't got no food on their table. They get in the streets like that because it's a culture.
Mm. I did not know that.
Yeah. I mean, that's all it is. You know what I'm saying? When you think about, for example, when you think about after the 60s, um, you know, black folks, a great majority of black people, all right, they were living in a certain bottom position, but they were supported. Black folks, welfare, Section 8, all of that. All right.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, you might be living in poverty, but you ain't never, if you're a black person living in America, okay, you know, man, for the most part, you ain't never lived in a situation where you had to sell dope, okay, simply because there was no food on your table. Okay.
Yeah.
Not saying that there's not a demographic of black folks out there that are like that. Okay. I mean, and I'm not counting like, okay, maybe a couple of days we don't eat or something like that, or we eating ramen noodles for the day. No, because that's all right. Okay. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? But most people ain't never been in a situation, you know what I'm saying, from adolescence and stuff like that, just coming up where they got into the street game. They got into it just because they didn't have none. It's just kind of like a female out here. Most women don't go strip because that's all they got to do. They
Yeah.
do it because they want to do it. It's an attention thing. It's a lifestyle that they want to be a part of. It ain't because this is all I got.
Yeah. Now that makes sense.
And so like when you don't understand that and you're talking this, well, you know, I want to the government wants to see what we can do to help them out. Really, you can't do nothing to help them out. You don't know them. If there's anybody that's going to really help them out, it's going to be somebody from their community. You know what I'm saying? Collectively, it ain't gonna never be the government. You know what I'm saying? They ain't
Yeah.
gonna really get down like that. You know, now that's why I say about the government can assist. Like, see, if he was doing something to push to like, I don't know, bring Job Corps back, you know, get Job Corps back in the city or something like that, you know, that would be him doing something that would really address the problem. You know what I'm saying? But talking this old theatrical talk, like you gonna be out here handing out jobs and stuff like that, you know what I'm saying, that is gonna end an offender's streak of being an offender. I mean, that's not realistic, you know, in my opinion. That's not realistic,
Well,
you
no, it
know.
makes sense what you're saying. You need to know the reason why, and when you said that, and he's stating because it's jobs, and that's not the case, then yeah, that makes definitely it makes sense.
Yeah, so yeah. But yeah, that's pretty much it about that. You know, I wanted to just go ahead and speak about it. Drop this. I might uh just kind of like chop this whole live up and put it on here and there. But really, I wanted to just speak all over the place about what he was saying. Hate I couldn't get the rest of my notes and stuff. But yeah, I think the last thing that he did. Oh yeah, something else. See, this is the problem. Last thing, he did show the prosecutor as well. They got a new elected prosecutor. Okay. And he was talking about her or whatever, talking about she's she's digging into the cold case files to catch up on some of these unsolved little crimes here and there. And I was like, that ain't nothing. I mean, I thought, what is she coming in the game new with? You know, he wasn't talking like she was a game changer. He talking about like, oh, yeah, she's in office. I'm like, that's what she's supposed to do. That ain't a
Right.
flex. You know, a prosecutor is supposed to be coming in, figuring out and organizing ways on not only how to address the cold cases, address them, but also addressing what's going on now. Okay. And the last thing that he didn't talk about either was, you know, you got a lot of people in Kansas City. I want to talk about this, talking about how there is no jail in the city, like no holding jail, whatever. It's really just a city jail. Because again, a lot of these other folks that don't know nothing about anything, they kind of live in a safe space and, you know, they sit and just cry and whine. They don't really know what's going on out here in these streets. They believe that the crime is out of hand out here because there's no city jail. And it's like, no, it's just a city jail. It's just really where, you know, they're gonna take a petty criminal or hold a criminal till they send them somewhere else. It doesn't solve crime. You know, crime is not lesser because that jail is there. All right. But a lot of people are talking about that. He didn't talk about it, okay, in that thing, because in my opinion, I believe that the city, they got to deal with some of these other counties. You know, some of these other counties are picking up some of these inmates so they can pick up some of this money. All right.
Oh.
A lot of people are sitting around talking about why it ain't no city jail in the city. The reason why is because the inmates are going to these other places, in my opinion, so that these counties can get this money. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so yeah. But that's all I wanted to say on it. I wanted to get out. Well, hey, I don't know if this thing gonna say twice because when I lost that connection, it seemed like it picked back up, but the time started back over again. But I don't know. But I wanted to just go ahead and rant about
Your
that.
your term started over?
Yeah, the live time.
I
Yeah, it
didn't.
started up.
What time does it say for you? It says 50 minutes.
Nah, mine say 18. But
Okay.
it probably is. But yeah. Yeah, it was all right. Yeah, it was cool though on this one. But I think, man, YouTube's, I don't know. Other platforms, their lives it's a little more easier to use, less technical.
Mm.
Like I had to flip the screen portrait style just to do the live. It's not like that on the clapper or whatever. But anyway, we'll go ahead and get off. Appreciate you pulling up.
I appreciate you
Also,
having me.
yeah, be back on some other time. But that's my thoughts. 300. All
All right.
right.
We out of here.